Here we are with our 2002 PT Cruiser, a final build, if you will. Stock compacts is what we'll run her in. Tomorrow, actually, taking her to the Venango County Fair. They have the stock day tomorrow. Hoping for some fun in the pit. So again, PT Cruisers and I am a big fan. She is stock, just to kind of go around and show everything, but up front you'll see here the core support is gone. Again, nothing wrong with the radiator or anything like that, but I've looped the lines, and again, gotta have that piece there so that it vents out the pressure as it builds. But got water and fabric softener in her. We got the hard Caravan Bumper up front. I actually, slight change, I was going to put the one on I just ran on my Cobalt, but this one I cut the little pieces off as I'd already cut the plates off this one, and it was a better flush kind of weld, pretty much no space at all in them whenever I put them on the frame rails, so I ended up using them. And again, welds are getting better, you know, not professional or anything like that, but my small, just basic outlet welder from Harbor Freight, it does the job. So the spray foam up front, again, obviously, you know, it'd be great to take these out. You have to pull all the wiring though out inside, as my son's running around enjoying the nice day in his four-wheeler. But it's just complex for me. I don't want to do it, so it's not ideal to have the wiring sitting like this. I spray foam inside the frame rail, between the wiring and the frame rail, so if I were to get pushed in, and even a little bit down there at the bottom so the wires aren't swinging around. And again, with the hard nose up front, I should be all right there. I mean, for at least a while, and if at that point I'm pressing back into the wiring that's there, I'm like, hey, it was a good run wherever we ended up. Again, got the tranny lines looped. I put a little spray foam on the bottom there as well, again, not only to secure it, which I zip tied it, but also just in case somehow, you know, get pressed back on there. Spray foam around the starter and the wiring. You know, I'm a fan of the spray foam, and knock on wood, never had it catch fire or do anything like that, and I think it does the job. So walking around, again, she is stock tank is in her. The stock tank in these cruisers is nice and deep. It's all the way up here. And again, these cruisers are hard in the back. They just take, even though there's really no trunk space at all, they're just hard. They take a pounding before they start to kind of fold up and in. And stock tank on my last year's derby car, I ran twice before the back end started kind of folding up and in, that it was starting to possibly press in the tank, that I dropped it and put my derby tank in. But this one just got the rear bar here for not only support but also protection and keep the side nice and stiff. Again, I got my ratchet strap going around the seat to not only make it a nice little armrest, but also keeps that seat from breaking, as I've had that happen before. Otherwise though, again, everything's stock inner. Airbags took out, unplug them, of course. Got my battery box there. I just got that kind of extra battery sitting there. I never use my actual derby top-notch battery until I'm ready to go in the pit, so she's fully charged. But again, wiring, I just pull forward. Only thing I did, you can see I have it over there in the door, and same thing over here. That ground there, I just like to keep grounded, and with it there in the door, it's far enough in and up that it's not, I mean, I would have to be really folding in before I would end up kind of damaging that. Just kind of zip tie the wiring so that it's secure. And again, look at all that dead car, and that's what we want. Back here I had an extra seat belt, so I just threw it around there. Trunk latches, or the rear hatch I should say, but just to make sure she doesn't come up. You can see pretty rusty. This one's definitely more rusty than my last year's 02 Cruiser, but that one was like a white whale. It was just wrecked shortly before, but it was damaged enough you couldn't run it in the road, but not that you couldn't derby it and have a real good derby run with it. This one's a little bit more rusted in the back part. Up front though, in particular at the wheels, she's pretty clean. And again, the 02 PT Cruiser has the good steel spindles kind of set up front. They are tough up front. Seat belts, again, I haven't duct taped yet. I'm a seat belt fan. Again, they're free 99, as I always joke, and I kind of get teased. I even put them on the hood. Guys kind of make fun of me or kind of laugh a little, snicker a little, which I don't blame them, whenever I pull into the derby pit. But again, I double knot them as tight as I can and then duct tape them, and I've run multiple derbies where they didn't break. They didn't give. They kept the doors tight, which is what you want. Threw an old set of junk tires in the back. I have this car actually had a nice set of front and back aluminum all-weather tires. They're a little dry rotted, but I mean, for our purposes, it's the best case for the derby. So I took them off the back and threw these on the back. I have one spare tire left from all my PT Cruiser runs last year, but not two. So that's why I have these on there. And again, tires are flat. A lot of space between them and the fender before I'm worried about any of that. Again, my chain setup, very simple for safety. Otherwise, you can see she's just kind of stripped down and ready to go. So take a look under the hood and show the simple kind of tweaking I do with it. So just the last little simple look under the hood with my simple little, it was over the radiator here, my little bar there that was the hood kind of hold up, it broke off. But again, battery setup, very simple. I just take I actually for the positive had to cut the wires because they weren't still together. It was kind of like they had changed the starter and they just kind of rigged the positive wiring. So I cut those, ran my U-bolt through, again, tighten the U-bolt and then duct or electrical tape rather, real good. I like to put a little spray foam around it just so it's not only secure, but again, if it's banging around, that's not banging off of any metal or anything like that, sharp stuff like that. And then run up here, I have it zip tied, and then I just had a little bit of extra of the spray foam, so I just hit it there. And then I like to zip tie it there so they're not, again, bouncing around, stuff like that. Negative, same thing. This one, I just put the U-bolt right through the negative terminal. It's all kind of normal. And then again, I spray foam all up inside there, spray foam inside the fuse box. I mean, that'd be pretty intense for that wheel and that strut. It's real windy today. I hope the mic's not picking too much of that up. But it'd be really kind of intense for that, but otherwise good and secure. Again, looped lines, I love, and not only the loop line, but I want to mention, here is again the coolant temp sensor. It's right here. Just unplugged it, ran up through and secured it there. I have the coolant temp sensor extra from my cruisers I ran the last couple years, so I just plugged that. But again, they sell the little plugs from AutoZone. They're like 20 bucks for like a 6-pack, and just plug them in there so that way it's not leaking out and you're reading the air. So that way the engine can straight up cook. I also, the thermostat's right in here in the cruiser, very simple, two 10mm bolts. I open it up and I open that so it's a constant hole instead of getting hot and opening. So that way, with it looped, it's constantly cycling. And it's also easier to make sure you have it as full as possible. So I like to do that with the cruiser. Again, air box, I just put the little kind of chicken wires, I call it, on there so nothing gets sucked in. But otherwise, pretty simple setup. Again, you never know with these old cars. Sometimes you think you have a monster, sometimes you don't know. This one I think's tough. Again, though, definitely a little more rusted than the last cruiser I was fortunate to have, but I still think she's tough. She sat for, in essence, 3-4 years and was just driven from kind of one part of the driveway to the other. So I'm hoping she's tough. So that's her. 2002 PT Cruiser. No paint job for this. We're heading to a campground. We're gonna leave the car parked and go to the Derby from there.